Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we're taking a look at the Atlantic Division as we continue my preseason rankings going through each division. We're heading up to the Northeast, really the East Coast in general, at the Atlantic Division. So let's get right into it. So I want to mention we're going to go from 8 to number 1. We're going to go through each team, why I think they are where they are, how many points they're going to have, and if they get into the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, at number 8, I don't think there's going to be much surprise here. At number 8, it is going to be the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres have lost a lot. They have a lot of distractions. Their captaincy getting stripped from Jack Eichel. Will he be on the lineup this season? Will he not? Their goaltending took a massive downgrade, losing Carter Hutton and Linus Ullmark. Craig Anderson and Aaron Dell. All right. No, your screen didn't freeze. I want you to let that sink in for a minute. How this team is going to be this year. It's going to be a rough year in Buffalo. I feel sorry for the Buffalo Sabres fans. They're going to finish the season 73 points, last in the NHL based off of I look at these other divisions. Yep, 73 points is 32nd in the NHL. That is actually a thing. You could be 32nd because the Seattle Kraken are in the NHL. So, congrats, Buffalo. You will be last in the NHL once again. Hey, maybe Shane Wright next year, right? Maybe. All right. Enough on the Buffalo Sabres. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't want to kill it more to death than it's already been. Number 7 is the Ottawa Senators, and the Ottawa Senators, I think, are going to see improvement this year. The problem is they aren't in the North Division like they were last year. If they wanted to make the playoffs, probably should have done it this year. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult in the Atlantic, where a lot of really good teams are going to be in this division, and I just don't think they have what it takes in that division. I'm not sold on Matt Murray as their starting goaltending. They're going to have some growing pains with some of the young guys taking big minutes on the forward and defensive side of things. You're going to see a lot more of the young guys like Eric Brandstrom, hopefully Jake Sanderson. Up front, you're going to see a lot of Shane Pinto and Tim Stuchla, a lot of young guys that, I don't know if they're going to be able to consistently, for an 82-game schedule, be enough to make the playoffs. I have them getting 83 points this season, which is quite impressive. Definitely giving them a little bit of respect, but I think they will fall in the bottom half of this very loaded division. At number 6, we've got the Detroit Red Wings. Steve Yzerman and the Yzer plan is a go in Detroit. In year now, I think it's number 3 or 4 in the Yzer plan, and the Red Wings are going to be a tough team, a tough notch during the regular season. They aren't a team you're just going to walk over. A really well-coached team by Jeff Blashill. I think it's an unbelievable miracle that he's made it so far in Detroit. But Steve Yzerman likes what he has in Blashill. And yes, the team hasn't been good, but that may not be because of Blashill. I think Yzerman has taken a lot of responsibility for that. With that said, if this team isn't a legitimate team throughout the season and competitive into the springtime, maybe they'll look at that situation. But I really think that Yzerman has sold out on Jeff Blashill and really likes what he could do. We might see a little bit of the young guys too. Again, you're hoping to see maybe a little bit of Moritz Seider here this season, maybe a little Joe Veleno up front. But again, there's a lot of questions because this is a very young team. And I think this roster is going to be very fluid throughout the season. And really the only thing that probably won't change much is Dylan Larkin is the number 1 center. Other than that, I think there's going to be a lot of rotation and trying to change things out throughout the season in Detroit. That's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. So at number 5, I think Montreal Canadiens fans would be disappointed to know that they will have be 5th in this division. And, also 84 points for the Red Wings, one more than Ottawa. So there you go. So at number 5 is the Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens fans will be disappointed, but there's a lot, again, there's too many questions that we don't have answers to. And the answers, I just don't know if they're going to be willing, or not that they're not willing, are they going to be able to fill the role? And 2 in particular, well, maybe you could argue 3. So up front, forward-wise, who's replacing Jesperi Kotkaniemi? Now, it looks like Christian Dvorak will do that. Or Philip Deneau, for that matter. Who's replacing Philip Deneau? It looks like Christian Dvorak. Great. Okay. But again, there's some questions there. Will he be able to do that? Because Philip Deneau was one of the best shutdown centers in the league last year. Will Dvorak be able to follow that up? Again, I think there's promise there, but still, a little bit of question. Defense. Shea Weber, the captain, will not start this season, may never play again in the NHL. They bring in David Savard. Great. Won 2 Stanley Cups in Tampa. He was the second or third pairing defenseman, though, in Tampa. Will he be able to have success in Montreal, where the stage and lights are very bright? We'll have to wait and see. There is some question there. And in between the pipes. So there's a question for your forward group, your defense, and your goaltending. Carey Price. Can Jake Allen replace what they need in Carey Price? Now, obviously, I'm being facetious with that. He can't. I mean, Carey Price is one of the best goalies in the league when he's healthy, which is the part of the problem. He hasn't been healthy. And the good thing is, hey, they bring in Samuel Montembeault from the Florida Panthers off waivers. So they have a goaltender here to replace Carey Price at the very least to start this season. So it's good. Hey, they got another goalie. The bad news is that probably means we're not going to see Carey Price to start the season, which means Jake Allen will have to start things off. And if the Habs get off to a rough start, Jake Allen, that's going to be a lot of pressure on this goaltender, who has been very good last year, but again, not Carey Price, right? So we'll see what happens. I have the Montreal Canadiens 5th in this division, 90 points. But unfortunately, I do have them missing the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs. So there you go for that. Again, I'm sure Habs fans will say, oh, you're wearing a Bruins jersey. I'm not a Bruins fan, but whatever. We'll just keep going with that. So at number 4 is the Boston Bruins. I think the Bruins have just enough depth less questions about their organization than the Habs. And that's not saying much, because the Bruins have a lot of questions for themselves. In pretty much the same sort of spots. Who's going to replace Tuukka Rask? Okay, Linus Ullmark. That may be a more comforting thing than Jake Allen replacing Carey Price, right? I think we can agree on that. All right, forward group. They have a situation there. Who's going to be the second line center there? It looks like it's going to be Charlie Coyle. So I can be okay with that. I can get behind that. They got Eric Haula and Tomas Nosek to help fill out the bottom 6 center spots. But again, there is still some, that's a big role to fill, because Krejci has been so underratedly good in Boston. We're going to really see how big of a loss that was this year. I think that is something that the Bruins are going to need to rely a lot more on, is Charlie Coyle, which he's struggled to do in Minnesota. So we'll see if he's able to do it here in Boston. Again, he's back in a top 6 role. Will he be successful there? But again, there is some hope, because you're going to be playing with guys like Taylor Hall. Again, the hope is there. They have 94 points. They do get into the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs, and 4th in the Atlantic Division. Moving up into the top 3, all these teams clinch based off of being in the division, clinching a divisional spot. So again, the top 3 teams in the division get a playoff spot, and then to fill out the 7th and 8th spots in each division, through the rest of the Eastern Conference. Now you're stepping into the Metropolitan Division standings, and you're keeping an eye on that, which ideally the Bruins wouldn't want to do, but that's where they're at. So at number 3 is the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a team that needs to have success this year, and they're playing in a very tough division. Again, talk about bright lights on. I mean, those lights are burning hot right now in Toronto. For the management, for the players on the ice, for the coaching staff, everything is on the line this season. Austin Matthews is embracing it. He looks ready to go. But we're going to see here if the rest of that group, Nylander, Tavares, especially Mitch Marner, can they handle that pressure? Morgan Riley and Rasmus Sandin on the final year of their deals, so expect a big season from them. And your goaltending, you could argue, is Peter Mrazek better than Freddie Anderson? Maybe not. But again, as long as you could get both of these guys in there and staying healthy, Mrazek and Campbell, that is a huge piece of this team, because they both had some injury issues last year. Campbell was out for significant times with injury last year, and so was Peter Mrazek. Now you have them both as the goalies there in Toronto. I think that will affect their points at the end of the day. They have 99 points this season, which is still respectable and gets them into the playoffs, top 3 in the division. But like I said, I think the 2 teams in front of them are more stable, and that's why they aren't in that top category. So you do the math. The top 2 teams are the Florida teams. The question is, though, in what order? I think you could probably figure out. At number 2 is the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers are a really good team, and I think adding guys like Joe Thornton, who left Toronto, they add Joe Thornton, they add Sam Reinhart. They just made some moves here that you were like, that's a pretty good move overall. It adds some depth to the team, and I think this is a team right now that you're hoping to see them take that next step. They won the division last year. I think they won the division in the Central. It was either them or Carolina in 2021, beating out Tampa. Can they do that again this year? I have them not beating out Tampa, just barely, with 102 points, second in the Atlantic Division. But this is going to be reigniting this rivalry. They played in the playoffs in the first round last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they met up again in the playoffs this year. We'll have to wait and see, but 102 points, second for the Atlantic Division for the Florida Panthers. So that means at number 1, it is the defending Stanley Cup champions for their 3rd consecutive year. Can they win a 3rd cup? We'll see what happens. The Tampa Bay Lightning are at number 1 in this division. They just have so much talent still. Yes, it did get a little bit depleted. They lost Yanni Gourde to the expansion Kraken. Tyler Johnson, again, an underrated guy. He is now in Chicago. And some other little moves here and there that just, where is Tampa right now? And they also lost David Savard. That was another big one. Blake Coleman. So they've lost some of those guys. Can they have guys fill out those spots? Taylor Radish, what's his name? Gabriel Dumont, sent to the AHL, Sean Day. So those guys probably not going to be in that conversation. But what about guys like Barre Boulet, Boris Kachuk, Antoine Morin? What about those guys? Are they going to make the roster, and are they going to be successful in those spots? We're going to see. John Cooper, this is the real test for Cooper. He's had really good really good players in front of him for most of his tenure in Tampa. Now the criticism can be taken away if he's successful with maybe a lesser depth team this season in Tampa. I have the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Atlantic in 2022. Not only that, they're going to finish with a really good record, top 5 in the NHL, 104 points for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there you go. So, recap real quick. At number 8 is the Buffalo Sabres, 73 points. At number 7 is the Ottawa Senators, 83 points. At 6, we got the Detroit Red Wings, 84 points. At 5 is your Montreal Canadiens with 90 points. Still missing the playoffs, all 4 of those teams. And then the 4 teams in this Atlantic Division that will make the postseason. At 4, you got the Bruins with 94 points. The Maple Leafs with 99 points. The Florida Panthers with home ice advantage over the Leafs, 102 points. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning winning this Atlantic Division with 104 points. That will be top 5 in the National Hockey League. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with me? Who will make the playoffs here in this Atlantic Division? And also, who will win this Atlantic Division? Let me know your thoughts on both of those in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure, guys, to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.